What makes illimity different right now is to make things happen in an incredible time to market. So from the time we have a business idea, we make it happen very, very, very fast. In less than 1 year, we were able to ramp up a team, to define an architecture, to define a strategy, to implement software, to do business in a way that, at the fourth quarter, we reached our break-even as a company. I balance my difficulty to manage criticism with my curiosity. So when I receive a critic, I learn to trigger my curiosity to understand why. Be happy when you are not anymore in your comfort zone. To disrupt an industry, a business model, first you have to disrupt yourself.
This is CIONET TV. My name is Hendrik Deckers. I'm here today with Filipe Teixeira, who is the CIO of Illimity Bank. A very warm welcome, Filipe.
It's my pleasure to be here with you today.
Filipe, you have a business and informatics degree from your hometown in Braga, the University of Minho in Braga, Portugal. You started your career 15 years ago in consulting, working at Oracle, Everest, Advantage Reply, and then you moved to Italy to work for UniCredit, the big bank there. And now for more than 2 years, you are the CIO of this new paradigm bank called illimity. So let's start first with yourself. Could you give us a bit of an introduction, in a nutshell, who are you, what's your background, and how did you arrive in this position as a CIO?
Okay, so I have, let's say, a very strange journey until I become the CIO of illimity. I am a son of Portuguese immigrants. I grew up in Monaco, in south of France.
Wow.
And when I was 18, me and my family, we went back to Portugal, in Braga, and I started to study there business and informatics. I always have a passion for informatics and how could informatics change the world. I was, let's say, quite average student, but I was passionate about informatics. And then I started to work hands-on, first on Oracle solutions, immediately starting in banking. I was always passionate about banking and economics. I worked there in Lisbon and Porto for a couple of years. Then I joined the Everest, a very nice Spanish and now international company for Santander Bank between Lisbon and Madrid. I learned a lot there. When I went back to Lisbon, when in 2011, when Portugal had a very tough financial crisis, and I was involved in, let's say, in a financial check of the whole banking framework in Portugal. And after that, the crisis was too tough, and I moved to London, working for Advantage Reply. I met outstanding people. I learned a lot. I traveled between London, Brussels, Luxembourg, Paris, always working in IT transformation programs for large banking institutions. And when I met Reply, who had UniCredit as a customer between Milan and Munich. And after a few months, I joined UniCredit. I had the opportunity to guide large teams in IT transformation programs in Milan, in financial risk, then in digital transformation, core banking transformation. And just a couple of years ago, I had, let's say, the opportunity, I would say, of life, create something from nothing, and just to apply what I had in my head of what could be a very modern and disruptive architecture for a bank.
Okay. So a lot of experience in technology, a lot of experience all your life in banking. And now for over 2 years, you're working for what you call a new paradigm bank, illimity. Can you enlighten us? What is illimity and what is so special about it?
Okay, what is special about illimity is we like to define ourselves not a challenger bank. We like to define ourselves like a new paradigm bank, a tech bank. Mm-hmm. And we have, let's say, a very complete offering to our customers that is leveraging exclusively on technology. So we don't have branches. We don't have, let's say, physical channels. We have 100% of our offering is based on digital, paperless. Every single piece of our business divisions are leveraging on digital. Yeah. And what is different in illimity is we are not, let's say, a traditional challenger bank. So we have retail banking, digital retail banking, extremely modern, extremely cool for our customers. But we complete our offering with very specialized lending to small and medium enterprises, mm-hmm. which is our second division. And the third business division is focused on managing distressed credits in Italy. It means that we buy portfolios from large banks who went in distress, and we help our customers, or we try to recover value from these portfolios. Mm-hmm. So this is from a business perspective, and from a technological perspective is that we try to build this bank with a very innovative architecture from a technological perspective, very data-centric, very API-based, and natively in cloud. So it's very important for us the enablement of new business models based on technology, based on data, based on cloud innovation, and based on integration with third parties that can be other banking institution, non-banking institution, and the explosion of fintechs that we are seeing emerging on the market.
Uh-huh. Okay. And all this only started in 2018, right?
Yep.
And the bank was only launched in 2019. Can you take us back to 2018 and how everything got started?
Okay, first day in office, November the 1st of 2018. It's a very strange sensation that I felt on this first day, because I would like to be a startupper. I would like to build something from scratch, from nothing. But when you arrive in office and you don't have internet, we are 15 or 20 employees, and you start from nothing. It's quite something. Mm-hmm. It's quite something, especially when you're coming from a large institution where everything is settled, everything is defined, everything has process, everything is there. Starting from nothing, it remembers you that okay, even the simplest thing as internet or computer for employees, you are in charge of, and people are looking at you saying, okay, I need my computer, I need internet connection. So it was a very, very strange challenge. And then, as our CEO raised almost 600 million on the market in 2018 with the idea of illimity, you have also to have the pressure to bring results, to make things happen as soon as possible. And so we start immediately with this, let's say, contradiction of building an architecture, building an information system with the goal to do business as soon as possible. So just to give you an overview of the first years, we had to ramp up 200 employees, to define information systems, the vertical software to enable business for retail banking, lending to SMEs, and the information system to manage portfolios of distressed credits. But you had also to manage all the systems that are needed for every company to be in place, for risk management, for CFO, for compliance, for human resources. It was really a big challenge. And you cannot be taken by the emergency of doing business and to put at risk let's say the crucial point of that can make illimity makes the difference, which is his platform, his digital platform, which is our core asset. So managing, let's say, the logistic part, managing the business part, and managing the definition of architecture, which has to be very modern, very simple, and enabling innovation, was quite a challenge for the first year.
So this is quite a story. I mean, in 2018, your CEO raised 600 million, and he said, Filipe, here, you're employee number 15. Here's your office, fix your Wi-Fi, and build me a banking platform as soon as possible. So how long did it take you to launch, and what was the results in the first year?
Okay, so let's go by step. The first challenge was to design an architecture, on which to build every business models on it. So at the time in Italy, there was not one single bank that was natively born in cloud. Yeah. So we had to manage the approval from regulators to tell us, okay, you are allowed to build a bank in cloud. But when you speak about building a bank in cloud, you have a problem of skills, because you find on the market people that are experienced in cloud engineering and people that are experienced in cybersecurity and compliance for banking. But you don't find people that are experienced in cloud engineering for bank, and you don't find cybersecurity experts for banks in cloud. So we had to define the teams, to mix skills, to mix experience, to design the architecture in a way that the regulator would allow you to build this bank. And the regulator does not challenge you on the fact that you are building a bank in cloud. The regulator challenges you on the fact you are able to manage a bank in cloud. So first big achievement was the approval of Bank of Italy in late February 2019 to say, okay, you have the green light to build this bank in cloud. Then I was inspired by these tech companies and very architecture in terms of resilience, in terms of enabling and integrating very fast and delivering software very fast, like Netflix, Spotify, Facebook. Yeah. And we build a very modern architecture based on APIs, big data, artificial intelligence, and digital touchpoints that were very fast to bring them in production and to be resecured and to bring something new. Just to give you an idea, so I joined the office in the 1st November of 2018. We signed 3 partnerships which were very strategic for us. The first one was with a core banking, very core banking with, let's say, traditional functionalities for a bank, which is an Italian player called Centrico, who give us this core banking as a service. We signed a very strong partnership with Microsoft for the cloud infrastructure, and on which our information system would be built. And we signed a third very, very important partnership with Google to implement our API strategy. And so we start to ramp up the team, to define the solution with business, to define the business models, and February received the okay from Bank of Italy to build the bank in cloud. In September 2019, So less than 1 year after we started, we launched the retail banking on the market, and in 3 months we reached almost 1 billion in terms of deposits in our retail banking division, with more or less 30,000 customers. Already in July and then in September, we launched the first version for our information system supporting lending to small, medium enterprises, and they onboard the first customers. And also in July and then in September, we launched the first version of the information system also to manage distressed credit portfolios for the first division. Now you could ask me, okay, how do you measure your success?
Yep.
Can you imagine that we start in the fourth quarter of 2018 and we reached our break-even on the fourth quarter of 2019? So it means that in less than 1 year, we were able to ramp up a team, to define an architecture, to define a strategy, to implement software, to build business, to do business in a way that at the fourth quarter, we reached our break-even as a company. And of course, in 2020, despite the COVID crisis, the bank had again a very steady increase and growth. And we just published our results a couple of weeks ago. We published more than 30 million of net income for the company. So
that's quite a story, eh?
So yeah.
So within 12 months, you break even. You start from scratch. You launch in. You arrive in November. You launch in the next September. You already break even by the end of 2019, and you make 30 million of revenue in 2020, which was a very special year. That's really an amazing story. So, is illimity a tech company, or is this a banking company? What is it that you are?
It's a tech bank.
Tech bank.
We do banking leveraging on technology. It's this is why I joined illimity. It's because it was what I was looking for. A company who based its business on the ongoing digital disruption that we are seeing. So yes, we like to define ourselves as a tech bank, a tech company. Okay,
so this is pure, really a technology-driven, from scratch. I mean, that's an amazing story. So, and you focus on a number of segments right now, but the ambition is to become a general purpose bank for private clients or for business, for everybody. What's the long plan, the long-term plan that you have with this bank?
So our long plan is to stay, let's say, a specialized bank, and we want to focus on what we are specialized at doing. So we are specialized at doing direct banking for both retails and SME customers, and we want to keep it that way. Then we want to be specialized and completing our offer for lending to small and medium enterprises, and then we want to go again on distressed credit portfolios management. Of course, we are assessing our offering. We could add some, let's say, additional, let's say, products to offer. We are thinking about it, but our purpose is not to be a traditional bank or to compete with traditional banks in 2021, but we expect to be the bank of the future. But we try to be the bank of the future today.
Okay. And
we see...
Mm-hmm. And the focus is on Italy, right? The focus is on Italy and you want to conquer Italy?
Right now is on Italy.
Okay. But the ambition is to go beyond and to go the rest of Europe as well?
Yeah, we are not assessing that right now, but we are completing our strategy, and I did not mention it before because when I think about all the things that we did in a couple of years, I could lose myself. But for example, in mid-2020, we created a joint venture with an Italian player called Hype, which is, let's say, an app for payments, which has 1.3 million of customers in Italy. So now there is a joint venture of 50% when we control 50% of the company. And here we complete our vision on retail banking to also serve customers that are not looking to have a banking account, but to complete our offering to serve customers who just want to have a payment service, okay? And so now we have, when we speak about strategy for retail banking, we have Hype, we're serving already 1.4 million of customers. We have illimity Bank on retail banking, which are serving almost 50,000 customers. But this is a channel for raising funds to allow the other two business divisions in terms of lending to small medium enterprises and distressed credit portfolio management. And also on this third division, we did another acquisition last year. We bought an Italian player called IT Auction, who was the last piece of our offering in terms of distressed credit portfolios, where it's a player that is very specialized in auctions on internet, and so it was the last piece for illimity that allows us to complete the whole offering end-to-end as, let's say, our perimeter of business that we are doing right now.
So the client acquisition strategy is through joint ventures and acquisition, and to see where you can find the right partnerships for the segments that you're going for.
Yes, I would say that our strategy in illimity from a tech perspective, but also from a business perspective, is to take decisions that allows us to be focused on what matters for us. So we are good at doing technology, we are good in lending, we want to do managing distressed portfolios, and where it's simply not strategic for us to spend resources from a human capital, but also economical resources, we leverage on our architecture to integrate third parties solutions. As you can imagine, we integrate with third parties for cards, for payments, for insurance, even for non-financial, let's say, services. We try to offer our customers an offering that is based on a customer experience that is based on financial services, but we are trying to do some intersections with non-financial services. We did some experiments last year in terms of offering with Fitbit from Google, with Mimoto, which is an Italian player on mobility. And so we try to offer some new kind of services to our customers that are going beyond the traditional relationship you can have with a bank.
Okay, so I understand you've grown from 15 people November 19 to 18 to 550 people right now. So how big is the IT team in that organization today?
So overall we are 600 employees, more or less, and in terms of IT department we are about 60, yeah.
And so what is, because this is an API first, a cloud first company, I mean, it's a textbook example of a tech bank. So what is really the asset of your company? What is really that makes, where's the value of illimity?
I would say that the value is that we serve digital customers, and we serve and we build digital business models. And the real value as asset for illimity is that we had the opportunity to choose every single one of our employees to have the right skills, the right mindset, the right cultural fit to be part of this incredible adventure. I can tell you about my team. It has been so far an absolutely incredible experience because I had the opportunity to design the architecture, but to design it with people that I had the opportunity to choose one by one on the market, and I had the opportunity to mix experience, backgrounds, technologies, and to apply these new technologies on a banking architecture. So if you ask me what makes illimity different right now, is I would not say innovation, because it's too simple to answer innovation, but it's to make things happen in an incredible time to market. So from the time we have a business idea, we make it happen very, very, very fast.
And so you have, I can imagine, a quite diverse team with different people from different backgrounds and so on. So what is your secret of success of hiring the right people? Where do you find the right people for the adventure that you are living right now? You mean from the whole company or more on the IT department? Let's talk on the IT and digital department.
On the IT digital department, I mean, it's very simple to find the people, because when you know, so many times you have engineers that would like to have the opportunity to work on the native cloud applications, to work on the API-based applications. And when you have large institutions that are working on information systems and architecture that for historical reasons are binded to legacy systems, it's difficult when you have to face a digital transformation. In illimity for engineers, it's a playground field. They come here and they have access to what they would like to be able to work every day. So cloud resources, strategic partnerships with Microsoft, with Google, with big data players, they can apply, release the state-of-the-art of technology. So I can tell you, for each one of the 60 people that are working on my IT team, I received more than maybe 10 candidatures for each one of us, because we were a very appealing environment to work for engineers. Okay,
that's very different than most CIOs in large organizations, absolutely. So, and how have you organized your team? What are the different teams in the IT department, and what do they do, and how do they work together with the business?
Okay, so I like to say that we don't have IT teams, we have IT business partners. So we work in an agile environment in illimity. I like to tell to my team that every day they should not receive orders, let's say orders from me, but from business colleagues. And they have to work mixed up with business colleagues. So we have a team that is dedicated to retail division, a team that is dedicated to lending to small and medium enterprises, and a team that is dedicated to to distressed credit portfolios management. Then we have practices that are cross to whole teams. And it's very difficult, I saw it in the past, but it's very difficult to give, let's say, self-management to teams that are working with business colleagues and to keep this knowledge that is shared among all of the teams and a kind of coordination about how things are done. So we have practice that is managing how we use cloud resources, which is our API strategy, which is our microservices strategy, our integration with third parties, our data architecture, and it's really a mission for all of us to be focused on what we are doing to deliver digital services, but to keep the awareness that what we do as a single team has to be a meaning as a whole architecture. So this is for, let's say, the more business oriented teams. Then we have two, I have to say, crucial teams, because here it's really innovation applied. It's how to define cloud cybersecurity for a bank, and with all the boundaries and all the, let's say, guidelines that we received from regulators about banking. So the cloud engineering team and the cybersecurity team have to have a different mindset, as they cannot slow down the implementation of the information system of the whole architecture, but they have also the huge responsibility to define what can be done and what cannot be done.
So how would you describe your role today? I can imagine that when you started, your role was to make the architecture and to make the big plan and to recruit the team and so on. That was probably the first task and the first strategies or strategic roles that you had to focus on. What is the role that you have today? Where are you spending most of your time today?
So as CIO, I define my role in the company, first of all, with a huge awareness of the responsibility that I have in the company. So I sit at the management team with our CEO every week. So it's a huge sign of how much the digital platform is at the core of the company. And I would say that I spend my time in, let's say, in three main areas. The first one is to ensure that our IT capabilities, IT human capital, is allocated to do IT business partnership for business model, business value, to deliver business value for our business divisions. The second one is to ensure that, let's say, the digital operations engine is efficient in terms of cost, in terms of scalability, in terms of the right partnership, the right products, and the level of service of our let's say, digital operations is working in an efficient way at the maximum of the level of services for the company. And the third one is to ensure that the company is safe from a cybersecurity perspective. So it's not, I mean, I feel the responsibility every day, because especially the last one, you remember you have it, unfortunately when you have a problem. So it's a very complex but a very challenging and very I mean, it's a kind of a dream job for one who is passionate about technology.
So it's not too difficult for you to attract the right people, because it's an attractive place to work. Tell us a little bit about your leadership style. how do you make sure that the people that work with you and around you, that they do the right things? And how do you make sure that they're successful? How do you lead your teams?
Okay, so if you remember the timeline that I told you before, when we start, we don't have internet. We had to build the whole company, and to reach a break-even in less than 1 year, as you can imagine, I cannot manage everything by myself. So I cannot take all the decisions by myself. So my management style with my team is to give a very clear vision of what has to be our way of working and our architectural and strategical roadmap for the bank from a technological perspective. Then, after I ensure every week that the roadmap is consistent and that is clear for all my team leaders. I have more or less 7 team leaders that are managing between 8 and 15 guys, each one of them. And I try to transfer them the sense of entrepreneur. They have to feel their mission as their own, and I have to ensure that the roadmap and each one of these entrepreneurs has a sense to putting them together. So my team leader for retail banking is an entrepreneur with the retail banking division. My team leader for lending and small and medium enterprises, it's an entrepreneur with the business lead of this business division. And so I try to give them freedom in terms of choice, and I just ensure that the choice of each one of them has a sense when we put all of them together. And this, in my opinion, it enables motivation, because they do and they manage their own decisions. It enables velocity, because we have a very streamlined, or let's say, process for decision, and productivity, of course, because when you do something that you design yourself, that you love, and it's kind of your children that is when you bring in production, there is a strong commitment in doing the things fast and well done. So this is my kind of management. I don't pretend to say it's better or worse than others. I would just say that so far it worked.
Okay. And let's say your 7 people meet and you're not there. What do you think they will say about you? How do you think your team and your people around you, how do they perceive you as a leader and as a person?
I think they would say about me that I trust them very much. I am extremely demanding. I cover them when things can go wrong, and I give them the space and the light for the success. So they would say, I think, that I am a manager of context, and that I do well what I have to do. So managing the vision and the strategy, and when the subjects are more vertical in terms of technology, I trust them on decisions. So far we on the IT department, I did not have one single, let's say, people who left the team. So I would say that overall they are quite okay with the way I manage the team. I hope so.
So Filipe, let's talk a little bit more about you as a person. I can imagine that you demand a lot from your teams, but I can imagine that you also demand a lot from yourself. So when, at the end of the day, you go home or you close your laptop and you say, this was really a good day. What must have happened for you to be really happy and content with your work?
Okay, unfortunately, it's maybe part of my personality. I'm not often happy of my day at the end of the day because I'm extremely demanding with myself. I would say that I look at few things at the end of the day is that if I was able to be present for my team, so to answer to my team, to support my team, to give my team all what they need to do to work and to be let's say satisfied at work. If I answered my business colleagues and my business peers for what they need from me, and if I took decisions not, let's say, not by pressure of time or because I was overwhelmed by too much complexity, but if each one of my decisions was based on what I really think could be the right decision, on data, on facts, and I hope to find and to have taken decisions that were not in a hurry, I would say. So, and most of all, this is something that is very, let's say, personal. If I would say that at work, but also with, let's say, personal relationship that we have at work, if in terms of integrity, in terms of ethics, in terms of respect, I always keep the right level of integrity, respect, ethics with my colleagues.
So you're quite driven, passionate about what you do. How do you compensate for that? What is your way to relax and get back to yourself at in the weekend or at the end? How do you decompress?
First of all, spending time with my wife and our dogs. I am a huge pet lovers, I would say. So it's a passion I have in common with my wife. I like to study a lot. I like a lot of reading, biographies. I am always fascinated by some, let's say, historical characters that change the world, and I'm very interested on the psychology that is behind, because there is, if you have changed the world, you have to be something special. I like cinema. Cinema allows me to really go somewhere else, to forget about the everyday routines, I would say. Even if in illimity we don't have a kind of routine, things are quite fast.
So you read biographies, and you look up to historical figures. Who do you look most up to? And what did you learn from which historical figure that you use in your private or in your professional life?
So from my personal life, it's a huge, let's say, it's a huge pressure. But sometimes when I realize that I'm complaining, and I try to compare with what my father has to face in life, I feel kind of, let's say, ridiculous. Because my father, he left Portugal during the dictatorship before 1975. He has to travel to first Venezuela to find work and to escape from the dictatorship. Then in Venezuela the things didn't go quite well, so he came back to Europe, and then just by chance he raised us in Monte Carlo, and then my mother joined him in Monte Carlo. But he has to face something in his childhood which were not easy at all, and he did not have the chance to study as I have. They learned to, for example, to read. They were already adults, so they lived in a country. They didn't speak the language, and so when I see what my father did with his life and what he allowed to me and my brother to become in life, I mean, sometimes it's difficult, but it's not the same level of pressure that he faced in the past. So my father is it's a huge pillar for me. It's a huge, let's say, North Star in terms of courage, in terms of resilience, and this is huge. It's two pillars of my personality: courage and resilience, and to keep hope that things will be okay. Then, in terms of historical figures, I am passionate about the biography of Winston Churchill, written by Martin Gilbert. It's in terms of character, in terms of courage, in terms of impact in the world, in terms of resilience in very difficult moments. And then, of course, I will not say, let's say, the traditional. Everybody that is working in technology has a huge admiration for Steve Jobs, Bill Gates, and Elon Musk. Okay, we all have it. But Muhammad Ali, it's with Winston Churchill to see the impact that and the force and the impact that they had in society. It's something that they mark the history so deep in terms of very strong values of respect, of courage, in terms of diversity that are really, really important for me. And then when we speak about competition, about mindset, and about leadership, of course, Michael Jordan.
Okay. Michael
Jordan. And then, forgive me, but I'm Portuguese, and you know, in Portugal we are a very small country. We don't do any kind of problems, and some say it's almost we say sorry to be here, but we are a very hardworking people. We have a really hardworking culture, and I like also people from my country that have success and international success. So Jose Mourinho, because I'm a huge fan of football, and it was quite a pleasure in terms of leadership, in terms of how he can trigger something in the people he's managing. So, you know, it's very different. We start with Winston Churchill, we finish with Jose Mourinho, but I know it's I can be strange, but it's how I pass my time in the weekend.
Okay, great.
To understand how these guys can have fought in the past.
Let's talk about your MBTI. You've shared your personality type with us. So you are an INFJ, also known as the advocate. And so that's someone who is more introverted, is intuitive, is stronger at the emotional side, and has a judging personality trait. And so if we research these people with this personality type, then the typical strengths of people with this profile is that they're creative, very insightful, they are very principled, passionate, and altruistic. So does that resonate with you? Do you recognize yourself in that description?
I have to say yes. Because I'm extremely passionate. I had the chance to work and to do things in life that were a passion for me. So I'm very passionate. I try to share my passion with both in my personal and professional life. I'm intuitive, yes. Yes, I try to leverage on data, to leverage on facts, to leverage on my experience, but at some time you have to have a kind of intuition of what's coming next. So I try to anticipate a lot on my intuition. Yes, I'm very principled, very altruistic. And one thing that makes me very happy is that I had so far a career that I'm very proud of. I'm CIO with 38 years old, and I think that I reached these steps not thinking on myself first, but always thinking about my teams, about the companies I was working for, and always to find the right balance with my peers. Maybe it's the character of to be a diplomat. I try to find always solution and no excuses.
Okay. Now, every positive side has a backside as well, as a potentially negative side as well. So potential weaknesses for people with your personality type is that some of them can be sensitive to criticism. They can be perfectionists. They tend to avoid the ordinary, not interested in the ordinary. And they are sometimes prone to burnout. So they have to watch out with to burn out and not to be too passionate and to go always all the way in. Which one of these would you say that you had to conquer, that you had to work on, and do you recognize some of these?
Okay, I have to say that I recognized all of them in my personality. I recognized also that I was not able to manage them when I was younger. Now with 15 years of experience, I have learned to manage some of them. To be perfectionist, it was one of my, let's say, main mistakes in the past, but as I am also very goal-oriented, I am also very pragmatic. So I learned to manage this kind of this side of my personality in the way that we need to achieve results. So it's always a battle inside me. I realize that. The first one, sensitive to criticism. Yes, I am. But yes, I am because I'm passionate and because I'm very self-confident. But I learned also from the experience, from a concrete experience, that there is a lot of, let's say, very, very competent people that are doing very interesting things, and so I balance this difficulty to manage criticism with my curiosity. So when I receive a critic, I learn to trigger my curiosity to understand why, and so okay. The last one, the prone to burnout. I have to say that with time, I learned better when to find the time to relax, to put my head in place, because when you are passionate about what you do, and when you feel your mission, and you feel part of something, and you feel the responsibility that you have toward the company, toward your customers, toward your colleagues, toward your team, it is sometimes difficult to just close the day. So yes, I find this, let's say, this dark side. It's my dark ghost that I have to manage inside my head, of course.
Tell me, Filipe, what was the best thing that has ever happened in your life?
It's the best thing.
It's an easy question, right?
It's an easy question. If you have to choose the best, it's not that easy. I mean, I have a lot of things that happen in my life. I cannot complain about that. But of course, the best thing that happened in my life was to meet my wife, who brings me a lot of balance and challenge. She's everything to me. But beside that, the best thing that happened in my life, let's say it was the opportunity that I had since my childhood, was to have the opportunity to meet always people with different countries, different cultures, different experience, different perspectives. And this diversity, it's something that is the opportunity to work, not only to work, but also from personal relationships, to meet people that is completely different of me, that have completely different perspectives and different ideas from me. It's something that brings me value and growth, personal growth, that is fantastic. And also from a professional perspective, every day I meet people from India, from United States, from the north of Europe, from Asia, and I have to say I'm very lucky to see that every day and to have this kind of relationship every day.
Okay. Now, we all learn from our mentors, from historical figures, from the people that we meet in our life, but we also learn from our mistakes. And we learn how to overcome our mistakes. So my favorite question is always, Filipe, what was your most brilliant mistake that you have ever made in your life? What was your most brilliant failure that you have had, and how did you overcome that?
My most brilliant mistake, and I learned a lot of it. It was I was working for 6 or 7 years. I was a very young consultant, just arrived in London, and I was the huge will to impress, this huge will to, okay, I left Portugal, I left difficulties, and now I'm working at the city in London, and I wanted to impress. And let's say, as Portugal from the north, we are a very proud people. We don't like to ask for help.
Okay.
And sometimes it brings difficult experience. And so I was in a project with a difficult customer, with a difficult project, and I was feeling drawing every day. You know, I was just not able to manage the situation, and I was not able to ask for help. To say, okay, this time I'm not able to do it by myself. And so I put at risk not only my credibility, but also the goals of the customers and the goal of the company that I was working for. Yeah. I had the chance, but at the time, my manager of the company I was working for in London was an absolutely fantastic person, both from a personal but also from a professional perspective, and I had the chance to learn a lot from him. To say nobody is able to do it by himself. So my biggest mistake was not to ask for help and to be led by my promise, to be too much more proud.
You were too much a stubborn Portuguese from the north. That was their nice way.
Yes. In the north of Portugal, we have hardworking and proud people, and we don't like to ask for help.
Now, Filipe, you're in this CIO position already at the age of 38. So you're very successful in what you do. You're in this very dynamic, very attractive new paradigm bank, illimity. People that watch this video, many of them will have the ambition also to become a top digital leader in the future. What would your advice be to somebody who is in their 20s, in their late 20s, and they say, I want to lead top teams, top digital teams in mid-size, in scale-ups, in large organizations? What is the advice that you would give them to get to the same level of success as you have?
To keep the curiosity on everything that is happening, because a lot of things are happening. Don't be self-oriented. Be open to people that have different goals, different responsibilities, but also from keep an eye on what is going on right now on the digital area. You might be not, let's say, okay with everything that is going on. You can discord, we cannot agree with everything that is going on. But for example, I am looking now for years and years on what is happening on social medias, on what is happening on blockchain community, on what is happening on AI, on what is happening on parallel business models that are, doing fintech, replacing banking, for example, on what it matters to me, and keep the curiosity and study on what is going on, because there is a lot of things that are going on digital, on technology. People are inventing new language of programming, new technologies, the wearables. There is such explosion on the digital era that keep study, and don't think that when you think that you are at the top, is because you are not anymore at the top. If you ask me what I fear most, personally in my career, is what I fear most is to be bored, because you're laughing, but many times at night when I get bored, I try to be worried about myself. And the funny thing about myself is, and it can be something that I can advise to our future digital leaders, is be happy when you are not anymore on your comfort zone. If you are on something that is challenging you, it's because you are growing, it's because you are learning, it's because you are disrupting yourself. And to disrupt an industry, a business model, you have to disrupt yourself. And so it's something that I try to apply to myself, to challenge myself on how to be out of my comfort zone.
Okay, perfect. And on that note, Filipe, I would like to thank you for sharing your vision, your stories, your experiences, and for this great conversation. So thank you so much for your time, and I hope that we will meet in Milano very soon, and have a nice bottle of good Italian wine together, I would say, no?
Absolutely. It was a pleasure, Hendrik.
A pleasure as well. So thank you so much, and see you soon. Bye-bye now.
Bye.